Hey, welcome back to Not So Complicated, and today we'll be talking about trigeminal nerve in our neuroanatomy series, episode 5, right? So let's begin without further delay. So we'll be talking about root or origin of the nerve, course, branch, functions, and lesions. So cranial nerve 5 originates from the pons varoli in the brainstem. It has 4 nuclei, and out of those 4 nuclei, it has 3 sensory nuclei and 1 motor nuclei. And these 3 sensory nuclei are spinal trigeminal, which senses pain and temperature, main sensory that senses thoughts or pressure, and mesencephalic that senses proprioception and jaw position, right? So the motor nucleus is trigeminal motor nucleus, which is used for mastication. So this nerve emerges as a large sensory root and a smaller motor root at the cerebellopontine angle. So the origin of the nerve is from pons varoli and the course starts from the same region, right? So let's talk about the course of the nerve. From the pons, the trigeminal nerve travels through the middle cranial fossa of the skull, right? To the from where does it go? For where does it go is that it goes to the trigeminal ganglion located in the Meckel's cave. And what happens after that is that this ganglion splits into 3 branches. That is B1 branch, B2, and B3. These are segments, right? So ophthalmic segment, maxillary segment, and mandibular segment. And B1 exits via the superior orbital fissure, B2 via foramen rotundum, and B3 via foramen ovale. So these are the regions from which these segments exit the skull, right? So the point to be noted in this nerve is that the sensory roots pass through the ganglion without synapsing, while motor fibers bypass it. You have to remember this point. This is very high yield. Let's talk about the branches, which is obviously the V1 is ophthalmic. It supplies the sensory like sensations to the forehead, cornea, nasal cavity, and the branches are supraorbital and supratrochlear. In the figure attached here, the green portion is ophthalmic segment, and then so blue segment is maxillary and red segment is mandibular, right? So you have their motor root and sensory root for this nerve too. And B2 is maxillary segment. It provides sensation to cheeks, upper lip, and palate. The branches are infraorbital and zygomatic. And B3 supplies to the mandibular region. The sensory reception is like sensory sensation is to the jaw, chin, and tongue, but motor sensation is for mastication. So the branches are mental, lingual, or auriculotemporal temporal nerve, right? So the muscles supplied by this nerve is masseter, temporalis, and pterygoids, and all of these are important for mastication. So these are the branches of the trigeminal nerve, and talking about functions of them. So they have sensory functions and motor functions. Out of these sensory functions, obviously we had talked about that in our branches section also. They provide sensations to thoughts, pain, temperature, corneal reflex, right? And then the regions are forehead, cornea, cheeks, upper lip, palate, jaw, chin, and tongue. And out of that tongue, that is anterior two-third region, and motor supply, that is B3 segment. Only B3 segment supplies mastication muscles, that is masseter, temporalis, and pterygoids. The others are tensor tympani and tensor veli palatini, right? So the reflexes that after assessing trigeminal nerve, while assessing trigeminal nerve, we have to check the reflexes like corneal reflex and jaw reflex. The corneal reflex is associated with B1 afferent and cranial nerve 7 efferent, right? And jaw jerk is B3 afferent or efferent. So these are the reflexes tested. So, talking about the lesions, what actually happens is that there are different causes for the lesions. One of them is trigeminal neuralgia, the trigger of which are thoughts and chewing, and the herpes zoster ophthalmicus, cavernous sinus thrombosis, brainstem lesions. These are the causes, right? So, let's talk about the effect of these causes. So, the trigeminal neuralgia, they present as B2, B3 electric shock pain, that is extreme pain, and we have to treat this disease with carbamazepine, right? So herpes zoster ophthalmicus manifests as B1 rash, corneal risk also, and cavernous sinus thrombosis manifests as B1, B2 sensory loss, and diplopia, that is double vision due to the effect in cranial nerve 3, 4, and 6. And also, brainstem lesions can lead to ipsilateral face numbness and contralateral body numbness, that is sensory deficit, right? So we have completed our trigeminal nerve series. So stay tuned for the upcoming series. Subscribe for more clinical pearls. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you.